went to Jack Murtha's funeral, and I flew up with Ray LaHood. And here's what he told me. He talked to all the states, and he now has put together a list of projects, construction projects, that are ready to move. This is real, not fantasy. And the figure is $70 to $80 billion in construction jobs, infrastructure jobs, that are ready to move in the United States of America. And when we go back next Monday, including the U.S. Senate, we ought to pass a jobs bill that has adequate money for infrastructure to help get America back to work. I'm not sure how we get to 60 votes. I asked my kid brother, how do we get 60? He says, Sandy, you had trouble getting 218 in the House. So I think that's number one on our priority list. Also, a number one issue relates to health care. The President has called forth a meeting a week from today. And he has said to the leadership, come to the White House and come forth with your programs and your plans. The hope is that the Democratic leadership in the House and Senate will be working on and will have worked through a health care reform bill. And I think the President is going to say, after that's put on the table, to the Republicans, put your plan on the table so we can see what you stand for.
Yeah.
Again.
Reconciliation.
It's time. Yeah. Kill the filibuster. Yeah.
I remember as a kid thinking about the filibuster, and that goes back a few years.
You were thinking about the
filibuster. And it used to be that if you wanted to kill a bill, it took 2/3 to overcome the filibuster. But you had to come to the floor of the Senate and speak, and not just say you don't have the votes. And I hope in the Senate, if the Republicans stand in the way, that the Democrats will say to the Republicans, you come forth, and if you want to talk this to death, you're at least going to have to try. Let me just talk about one issue relating to health care, because it's been an obstacle in terms of getting agreement between the House and Senate majority. And that relates to the taxation of health care benefits. It is a frightfully lousy idea. Now, you know, decades ago, I started campaigning right in this town, Madison Heights. I can remember the first door I knocked on. It was owned by a good union member, by the way, Archie Day. I remember him. If you're walking up and down the streets of Madison Heights, and I suggest everybody should do that, south and north, and knock on the doors of people and get their stories, I think the vast majority will say this about health care in Madison Heights and this whole area. 40, 50 years ago, my grandmother's generation, it had no health care, the vast majority. They relied on their children, my parents. What happened was that we had an auto industry. And the labor movement decided that every worker in a plant should have adequate health care. And because of that effort, the word spread that every American was entitled to health care every American. And the notion that we would tax health care benefits is antithetical to what we have been fighting for all these years, and is antithetical to the feelings within the households in Madison Heights and throughout this area, and I think increasingly throughout the country. So when I go back on Monday, my message is going to be, let's get health care done, let's get it done the right way. And don't tax health care benefits. Look, this new study, it's mythology. The notion that we were essentially saying don't tax health care because of pressure from the labor movement. The labor movement gave us that pressure. But it was always true that the majority of people whose benefits would be taxed do not belong to labor unions. It was not only a union issue, it was a worker issue.
Yeah.
And not only a worker issue, an American issue. So I can't guarantee that when I go back, we'll prevail 100%. But this much I want to assure you. We're going to go back and try to prevail 100% and get a decent health care bill for the people of the area. Well, maybe I should stop there. There are other issues that need to be addressed, but maybe I should emphasize this. There aren't that many legislative days left. And so I think it's critical that we prioritize. I think we have to try to focus on what needs to be done right away. Right away. Right now. I think right now it means jobs, and right now doing everything we can to provide health care. You know, when the president meets with the Republicans and the Democrats, he's going to try, I think. I think he's going to say to everybody, what we need to do is to get control of health care costs and cover every American. Controlling health care costs and the importance of it. There are new studies. You know how much the premium is going up? I think the leading insurance carrier in California, over 30%. How much?
39.
That's over 30%.
It's way over 30%.
Okay, way over 30%.
Let's have real health care without the insurance companies.
Well,
Why do we need insurance companies? People would support that. We wouldn't be waffling on the issue and losing all our
Okay.
support.
I'll tell you, I was hopeful we'd have some Q&A with this
Let's
test.
have
Okay, so the answer is, we've got to reform the system, and we've got to get the votes to reform it. You send us not to have a theoretical debate, but concrete action. That's what you send us
And
to
we've had a
do.
theoretical debate for the last year with no action. People would be out in the streets if we were fighting for real national health care instead of a bill that doesn't benefit anybody.
Well, wait. The bill that we
Let's
passed...
debate it.
No, wait, I haven't quoted everybody. I'm glad we're having the back and forth.
Debate it.
Let me finish. The bill that passed the House that I worked on in the Ways and Means Committee, the Republicans said they weren't going to deal, so we worked within